So I've been thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels quite a lot, because it's a really fun game. When it first came out, I was really into it. I thought the way to build decks was really quick, the matchmaking was fun, but I've completely fallen off of it, which happens with new games, and reflects with their download rates or people playing, Twitch watch, or all those numerics. You know, they're all down. And I was trying to think of what would draw me back to the game. And I've come up with the worst idea ever, and that would be some sort of Final Fantasy XIV-esque MMO capital city, because a thing with games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is that my brain is fried 24/7, and it requires so much work for me to hype myself up and commit to a game that requires me to even use an ounce of my brain, especially if it is multiplayer. It's just a whole nother... oh god. But a trick that I think MMOs do particularly well, and this is why they're so addicting maybe, is the capital cities, like in WoW and Final Fantasy. They give you an avenue in which you can just exist in the game. You can just experience the simple joy of existing in a game. Yeah. So I was thinking, well, what if Master Duel just had, like, the school from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and you could make an avatar and spend gems on dances and clothes, and there would be other people, and you all just AFK and loiter, and you could maybe examine them and see their records, or their decks, or you could duel them. Just an idea, just for me specifically, because I used to play a lot of WoW in high school, and I think an embarrassingly large amount of that gameplay was just trying to get on the fountain in the human capital city, because that's just what everyone did. Everyone just waited until it was time to go raiding with the guild. You didn't actually play the game, you just had a good time existing in the game. And I think Master Duel, that would be cool. That would get me back. And I've been really chewing on this concept of existing in a game with no what's the word? Expectations, pressure. Because even some games that seem like you could just exist in them, like Animal Crossing, they do have like a bit of a pressure to be creative. Yeah, it's interesting. MMOs are probably the best at it, but 3D platformers, this is why people, I think, really like a good hub world in a 3D platformer. Because in 3D platformers, sometimes you want to go after the objectives, but sometimes if it's a good enough 3D platformer, just the simple act of controlling the character in a 3D space is just so enjoyable. And for the game to give you a good space to do it in is just a little beautiful joy. I've been playing Mario 64 at an absolute snail's pace recently. I think I've spent maybe 2 hours of gameplay, and I've gotten like 3 stars, and 3 or 4, and that is just an absolute baby game. I've beaten it plenty of times and could immediately get a whole bunch of stars real fast. But I've just been really admiring the castle and the courtyard, and just running around and just being in awe that this game was just such a joy to play as one of like the first 3D platformers. It's incredible. Another thing it reminds me of is Halo 2, because in high school, played a lot of Halo 2, but reflecting on it, when like the friend group wasn't really feeling it, didn't want to jump into the high octane leaderboard ranking death matches or whatever. We would just go into a map and just, that's it. We would just run around. We wouldn't play against each other. We would just run around the map. We used to like role play in our Halo 2 clan or whatever. I can't remember that big city map where we'd move boxes and set up shops. And then Halo 2 was also just rife with super bounces and little glitches that get on top of stuff. Like, that was a game that it was just a very fun to just exist in the game. And once you're in the game and existing in it, the idea of playing the game becomes a lot easier. And that kind of ties into RuneScape and how this is a RuneScape video. My very quick, very lazy RuneScape video. Because I don't want to make an actual RuneScape video. All I have to say about RuneScape is that it's this very cool MMO that is like a choose-your-own-adventure style game where there's a bunch of skills and you just do whatever skill you want to do. There's no pressure or anything, and you don't even have to train. You can bank stand. It's the same as a MMO capital city in WoW or Final Fantasy XIV. But the other thing, and this is probably why I like these skills so much, is a lot of the time I say the more high octane bossing and Slayer and more click intensive skills, I can kind of just log in and just fish. Just fish for a while. Fish for maybe like an hour. And then after that, it's like, okay, yeah, let's go do something else. Let's go do something. Now that I've existed in the world, let's do something else. Let's get a little more action in this. So, yeah, those are my quick and dirty boy easy thoughts on RuneScape, I guess, in particular. And just the joy of just existing in a game. It's just nice to do that. Wow. Bye!